All right, hello YouTube. I am finally going to give you guys an update on my C7 Corvette. I'm about to hit 100,000 miles, and yet again, I am not in Illinois. I am in Tennessee, and I'm at no other place but Buc-ee's. And this isn't just any ordinary Buc-ee's. This is actually the biggest Buc-ee's, I think, like in the country, with the biggest car wash, which is over there. This is one of my favorite places to visit, and I just wanted to do a review on this car because one, I made my video on the Audi, and that video did really well, and I wanted to talk about my ownership of this car. I want to talk about how expensive these cars are these days and how much of a bargain they can be. I want to go over my modifications and what I think is worth it. If I think you should buy this car, if this car's worth it. I want to compare it to the other C7s and the trims, and just kind of give you guys my thoughts and opinions on what this car kind of offers for the price, because this car currently goes for, you can find a C7 Corvette for around 30 grand, in some cases under 30 grand, and I think that the prices will continue to drop. So yeah, let me go ahead and tell you all about my car. Okay, so like I said, I'm at Buc-ee's, and I look like a complete idiot, and I kind of look like a douchebag filming in the middle of a gas station, but I really love the way that this wrap looks, and I really wanted to show on camera. I tried to shoot this video earlier, but in the daytime, but I like the way this car looks at night. So anyway, so like I mentioned, this car can be found for around 30 grand, and I think this car is a massive bargain, right? And your first question may be, well, okay, what about the Grand Sport and the Z06? And my honest opinion is that the Z06 and the Grand Sport, more so the Grand Sport, is just not worth the money. So the only thing you get with the Grand Sport is that the Grand Sport gives you a wider body, so you get the Z06 body on the Corvette, but you don't get any additional performance. The only thing you really get is the Z06 body and wider tires. And I don't think there's much of a bargain there. Now, if you're watching this video in like 5 years and these cars continue to depreciate, the price difference between the base Stingray and the Grand Sport may be small enough to justify the purchase. But as of right now, the Grand Sport offers, or people are wanting, around a few grand more than the base model C7, and I just don't think that it's worth it, because you're going to get the same car, right? And also, as far as I'm concerned, the Grand Sport is not offered with the competition sport package with the carbon fiber red bucket seats, which is what my car has, and I really love those seats. So that's something to take note of. And then the Z06, in my opinion, I have driven one before, I have sat in one before. You know, they are identical to the C7 in terms of the interior. And in my opinion, I don't think the C7 Z06 is worth it unless you're actually going to the track. You know, I'm going to be a little bit of a stickler and say that people say that they're going to go to the track and they don't. I think that this car and what it offers in terms of power and modifications, this car is more than enough for the street, and more than enough for the average person, right? Most people buy a Z06 and they store that shit in the garage and never fucking drive it, right? This car I drive every day, as much as I can. Every single season I live in Chicago, so I drive in the winter, I drive in the fall, I drive in the spring, I drive in the summer. I have 2 sets of wheels, I have a set of winter tires for the car. You know, I drive this car all over the place, right? You know, I'm not someone that stores the car in the garage and never drive it. So I don't think the Z06 is worth it either. And it's extremely expensive. It's still around, I think the Z06 is probably, people want around like 20 grand additional on top of what the base C7 offers. So in my opinion, I don't think it's worth it. I wouldn't use all that power, and I just can't justify it unless you're going to the track every single day, which most people are not. Stop saying you are, you don't. I mean, most cases people just don't, right? Let's just be real. This car is more than enough, right? So I don't think the Grand Sport's worth it, and unless you're a serious performance guy and you actually track your car, the Z06 is worth it. But the Stingray is just offers amazing value. My God, I look so stupid at this gas station. You guys have no idea, but I really like the lighting. It makes the car look really, really good. So anyway, now I want to talk about what are the common problems that this car has, right? Because there is one big problem, and the biggest problem that these cars have is the torque tube. Torque tubes go bad on these, on all of the C7 Corvettes. I believe the Stingray is the most susceptible to them. I don't know if the Z06 has a different one or not, but these torque tubes go bad, and when they do, they cost an awful lot of money. Now, I'm not a mechanic, and I am not smart enough to tell you what exactly a torque tube does. I just know it has something to do with the transmission, and I know it sounds horrible when it's going out. So if you're going out to go buy one of these, the torque tube is just going to fail at some point. It failed with mine. I bought this car at 64,000 miles, I believe, somewhere around there. The car is originally white. I'm gonna get into my mods in a minute. But when I started the car and when I was going between 15 to 20 miles per hour, the car would just make a clunking noise. It was just really annoying, and it just did not sound good at all. And when I went to go park the car would make another clunking noise, and it just sounded like tin cans just rattling around under the car. At first, I thought it was catalytic converter failure or some sort of deterioration of my exhaust, but it was not. My mechanic quoted me around like $3 to $4 grand, and I had it repaired under warranty, thankfully. But if you're paying out of pocket, it is a nightmare. It's a massive problem, and there are people on forums saying that the torque tubes that they've been through 2 or 3 of them within 100,000 miles. For me, I got a new torque tube at around 70,000 miles, and I haven't had any problems, and I drive the car pretty hard. But some people have bad luck with the torque tubes, and some people have never had a problem. It all depends, but it is definitely something to look out for, and it is a common problem. Another common problem that I've seen with these cars, now this goes for this is a little bit of a doozy, but this is a 2014 C7 Corvette, and the 2014 C7 Corvette comes with an automatic transmission, but it's a 6-speed automatic transmission, and it's more reliable than the 8-speed transmissions that come in the 2015s and up. This also translates to the Camaro SS as well. They also share that transmission, but I believe that the problem I'm going to mention is more prevalent to the C7 than the Camaro. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I just don't have a Camaro SS. I don't have any experience with them. But the transmissions in the 2015 and up Corvettes have a problem where there's like a bit of a shudder, and it's a very common problem. For some reason, there's like a lurching or some sort of an issue with the transmission in the 2015s, and they require a full transmission fluid flush, and that typically solves the problem. Again, I can't speak on it because I have the 6-speed automatic, and the 6-speed, like I mentioned before, is more reliable. It is a little slower, I mean like negligible slower than the 8-speed, and I have test driven the 8-speed automatic, and I don't care for it. I don't care, 6-speed, 8-speed, whatever. The car's still fast, right? So look out for those two. Those are the 2 big things with this car. But for me, outside of the torque tube, I haven't had any real big problems. Some minor stuff I had is that the left tail light was giving me issues with water leakage. Now, this could very well be because of the fact that I replaced it with aftermarket ones, but I've been through like 2 different sets of aftermarket taillights, and I've had issues with water getting inside of them, so that was a bit of a problem. So you want to get that looked at. And then for the 2014s especially, this bumper, you can see there's a little bit of a gap right here. No idea why this happens. People speculate in the forums that the bumper can be a little bit loose after you take off the bumper so many times, and this bumper, because of me getting the taillights done and because of me getting the car wrapped so many times, not getting the car wrapped, but I had the car wrapped, I had the taillights taken out, and those are done separately, and there's like a gap there, and I don't know why it's there. It's been there for years. I kind of got over it, but that is something to look out for when it comes to these cars. That's something that I've had an issue with. I'm gonna take the top off, and I hope I can remember, but some people do say that there is a little bit of water leakage with the the water drainage system, because this is a target top. So you definitely want to check for the grommets, because they can deteriorate over time, especially as these cars age. You want to look out for that. And then especially with the cars equipped with the real leather with the 3LT interior. I'm going to open the door actually. I have the 3LT interior, and people do complain, damn, the gas is trying to open. Did y'all hear that? Anyway, I have the full leather interior, and people did say that the dash part, like right here, does start to bubble if the car sits in the sun for a long amount of time. So if you're buying this car from the south, you want to just pay attention to the leather, because it may be bubbling, right? Again, it happens with age. This is a 12, 13-year-old car. You just want to watch out for it. But outside of those small few things, this car has not given me any trouble. I just do my regular maintenance, and I just mainly just do oil changes, tire rotations. And for me, I keep the car at stock height, because the car does sit kind of low, and because of the fact that I daily it. Well, this isn't my daily, quote unquote. I do have the Audi, but I drive it so often, it might as well be, right? It's treated as one. I keep it at stock ride height, and sometimes I scrape and I hit shit. Just happens every few 10 or 20,000 miles I scrape some shit. But the cool thing is, under the car there is a metal plate that does protect pretty much everything under the car. So when I scrape something, I'm like, oh, whatever. Don't, you know, I sound like a soccer mom, but you know, yeah, it's whatever. It's a Chevy, it's a car, whatever. But do look out for those things. My God, YouTubers do not talk about how awkward it is to film your car in public. I feel so fucking stupid. It's like 3 a.m. That's why I came here really late, just to get the gas station to myself, kind of. But anyway, the next thing I want to cover is modifications and how cool this platform is, right? When I think of a platform that's really cool to modify, I think of the Mustang. And, you know, just for some context, I did have a 392 Dodge Challenger SRT, or 392 or whatever people would call them these days. But I had that car, and that car is not really fun to modify in terms of getting actual horsepower per dollar. It's very expensive. It's a very expensive platform, and for the factory, the 392s do come pretty optimized, right? But I've always felt that car was pretty slow, really heavy, and the interior was kind of shitty. I can't lie about that, right? But I thought the interior was kind of shitty. But for this car, the LT1, this also goes for the Camaro SS for the most part. 2016 Camaro SS and up. This platform is awesome. So stock, this car comes with 465 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque. Somewhere around those figures, I could be wrong. I can't remember, but I believe it's 465 even on both. And if you throw long tube headers, E85, in an intake, and a tune, you make 500 horsepower, and this car goes from like 3.8 to like 3.5. Right, and this goes for both the Grand Sport and the Z51 and the Stingray, because of the fact that they share the same engine, right? No big deal. So you throw that at the car, and it becomes a beast. In my opinion, you need to get this car tuned, even if you're not going to throw 85 on it. It's just worth it, in my opinion. It really wakes the car up, and it's just great value for the money. Again, this also goes for the Camaro, but in my opinion, the Corvette is a few hundred pounds lighter than a Camaro, unless you're getting the Camaro LT1, which that is a bargain as well. I don't own that car, but you know, for this car, those simple mods, it keeps it naturally aspirated, it keeps it reliable, and it keeps it pretty tame for the most part. Now, this car in particular has E85, it has long tube headers, and it does not have an intake. But it just has those two things in terms of performance. And I mean, what a rocket ship this thing turns into. It makes somewhere around 500 horsepower, or it's either a little bit above or a little bit under, but somewhere around that range. And I love this car a lot. This car actually still scares me, and I've owned it for 4 years, and it's been tuned for 3. And I rarely dig into the pedal, and it still scares me. So, you know, this car is amazing, and I think it's a great value, and especially if you're someone that likes to tune their cars. There's plenty of people that will add boost to these cars. I believe these cars handle boost pretty well, not as good as a 5.0, but I've seen people that boost them, they put a cam in them, they make great power that way. I mean, if you want to go naturally aspirated, you can't go wrong there. If you want to boost it, no problem, this car will take it, right? This car and this platform is awesome. So yeah, there goes for the modifications I have to the car in terms of the engine. And then I'm going to get into the interior and common problems with the interior, which models I think you should buy, which ones you should avoid, etc. Boom. Okay, holy moly, the top comes off. The store's in the trunk. And actually, before I get in the car, one of my favorite things about this car is how spacious this is. This is a hatchback, so you can fit quite a bit of things in here. You can pack for an entire road trip for 2, and you can store the top in the trunk. And so for me, I'm about 9 hours away from home. I stored all my stuff in the trunk, and I was able to take the top off. I mean, this car is awesome, so just keep note of how practical this car actually can be. You can actually get the groceries in this thing. Just want to make note of that. All right, now hopping into the car. So as you can see, I took the roof off because it's just easier to show the interior. There's my pony, and there goes my pet Evie. But as you can see, I have the competition red seats. I have the 3LT package, which gives me the red seats. It gives me the carbon fiber dash. It gives me the carbon fiber roof in there, as you can see. And I went ahead and I also changed out the steering wheel, which I'm going to get into in a minute. But yeah, this car is fully loaded. I have the pop-up display, all that stuff. Now, hopping into this interior, as you can see here, I'm going to see if I can zoom the camera out. This is the driving position that you're going to be in when you buy this car, or when you test drive one or whatever. And this car looks awesome. It looks very modern, and it doesn't look dated at all. Need I remind you, this is a 13 to 12-year-old car. I don't know which one it is. Now, when it comes to the trim levels, the Z51 offers 5 horsepower over the over the base model Corvette. Now, are you going to feel that in everyday driving? No, you will not feel that. No one's going to feel that. But I'm just telling you because it is there. Also, the car comes with a dry oil sump. I don't even know what that does. I just know it has it. I'm sorry, I know I don't sound like a mechanic, and I know I don't sound like a supercar nerd like everyone else, but I'm a real person that owns this car, and I've owned it for a while. But it comes with a dry oil sump thing, whatever. Now, with the 3LT package, people have complained that the 3LT package isn't worth it because I believe the 3LT package is one of the only things that it really comes with that over the 2LT is the additional red leather or whatever color you choose. So I believe it comes in the red leather, it comes in white, or it comes in Kalahari. I believe those are the three options you have. So the 2LT, you get a little bit of it, like right here, and then the 3LT, you get it also on the dash here. People say that it's not really worth it, and then the 3LT also comes with ventilated seats. The 2LT comes with heated seats. The 1LT doesn't come with either. The 1LT also comes with standard black seats, and in my opinion, the 3LT is worth it just because of the color in here. The Z06 that I got into that I told you that I test drove, it had a very basic black interior, and I fucking hated it. It was so boring, so generic, but the red is it just makes this car pop, in my opinion, and I think it's worth it. Also, as far as I'm concerned, these competition seats are only available on the Z51, and I fucking love these seats too. I'm sorry I'm cursing, but kids shouldn't be buying Corvettes anyway. You know, adults only type shit. Anyway, but yeah, for the interior in here, if you're going to be looking to buy a Corvette, one of the things I would check for is actually the buttons, right? Let me see if I can zoom in here. Check the buttons. Now, this car has 100,000 miles on it almost, and all of my buttons look pretty pristine. Outside of these two, you're probably looking like, oh, what are these? I bought the car like this, you know, that's fine. These are the only buttons that have any wear, right? All these buttons are original on the steering wheel. I transferred them over from my old steering wheel. I'm gonna get into my steering wheel in a minute, don't worry. But all these buttons look good. Now, I've seen cars with half of the miles that my car has, and I've seen the cars with like all the buttons are worn, and basically that means that the person was eating Big Macs or some shit, greasy ass food they're eating in the car, and the grease gets on the buttons and then it wears the buttons away. That's why you won't be able to see the radio media or the text on it, right? Check this center console and everything, and check the leather, right? But yeah, if someone's been eating in the car, you're going to see it on the buttons. I don't know what happened to this. I don't know if this dude chewed it up into the back. I don't know, but everything else in this car when I bought it was like spot on, right? And it still is. I mean, the leather isn't bubbling or anything like that. This seat looks great. The driver's seat's kind of warm because of obvious reasons, right? Obvious wear and tear. So yeah, I would just say look out for that. Look at the buttons. And then here, for my modifications inside of the car, you probably see this big ass screen right here. So just as a buyer's guide, the 2014 and 2015 Corvette does not come with CarPlay. CarPlay is not standard in those years. CarPlay started in 2016 and up. So because this is a 2014 car, I went ahead and bought an aftermarket unit, and this is a wireless CarPlay screen. So I just went ahead and put that there, and it just plugs into the air vent, and I have CarPlay in this car. For the steering wheel, I went ahead and got a carbon fiber steering wheel. This steering wheel feels fucking awesome. It feels like super good. I mean, God, dude, look at this shit, dude. Like, come on. Anyway, I bought an aftermarket steering wheel. This shit was like $300 off of eBay. It was awesome. And I bought it to match the carbon fiber accents on the car that came with it. And then I got these shift paddle extensions in red for obvious reasons. I mean, look at this. It just comes together so nicely, right? The stock steering wheel on the Corvette, I just didn't like it. It was really thin. It didn't have any weight to it. And it just felt kind of like cheap. It's not like super cheap like a Chevy Bolt or something like that, but I wanted something a little bit more athletic. And this steering wheel, the thing that you're touching all the time in the car is, it really sells the fact that this is a sports car and not just some cheap ass Chevy. You know, so yeah, I went ahead and replaced that. And then in here I have, some underglow lights in here just for, you know, so I can see if I drop some shit, to be honest with you. And then in here, oh my God, this is the worst part of the interior. This cup holder is ass. Not this one because I replaced it, but the cup holder that comes with the C7 is garbage. Is garble. I mean, it's flailing around. It's always moving. It doesn't hold anything, and it gets hard to close the cup holder. It's so fucking annoying. Anyway, I went ahead and replaced that shit with something cool. This cup holder here, it stays firm in here, and it actually holds a big ass American drink. You know, because Americans love having fat ass drinks for some reason. Hint, Buc-ee's, right? I went ahead and replaced that shit. So, and it closes. Boom. But I think that's pretty much it for the interior. I have my pony in here because I play Tekken, but other than that, this interior is pretty spotless. And the cool thing about this car is that the interior does not age. You have a digital dash in here. The radio is perfectly fine. And the Bose sound system, it hits like a truck. I mean, it's like a 10-speaker system or something like that. Music sounds awesome in here. And like I mentioned, boom, convertible. But yeah, that's my review in the interior. God, people are driving by and I look and feel like a fucking douche. There are 2 police officers over there and I'm pretty sure they're talking shit. Anyway, I'm just kidding. No, they're not. They're cool. But my closing statements, who is this car for? Now, there is other cars out there, right? The Camaro SS, the 2016 Camaro SS without the 10-speed. Those cars can be found for like mid-20s. But I think the few extra grand is worth it for this car. This car was my dream car for a very long time. I grew up on the C6, and I think the C7 is a timeless design. I mean, this car looks amazing 13 years later, and it still gets me looks. Now, I'm not really into what people think of me. I'm very just open with who I am, and I'm very confident in myself. But if you want to appear to have more money than you probably do, this is one of those cars that will give you a look, right? People, I mean, the entire time I've been driving all the way over here from Illinois, people are floored when I tell them that you can find a C7 for like 30 grand. And you can. My favorite options with this car is the 3LT package, and I would skip the Z51 package unless it is the same cost as a base C7. I would say instead of focusing on the packages that the car offers, I would instead focus on the condition of the car, right? I would gladly take a base C7 1LT over a fully loaded Corvette that looks kind of shitty on the inside, right? I do value the interior a lot, but for the most part, the 1LT is just amazing value, like the very, very base C7 with like the ugly chrome old man grandpa wheels. Just buy like a set of aftermarket ones, and oh my God, what a dangerous car that this car can become. For me, since I got the Z51 package, it did come with a spoiler. I did go ahead and upgrade that to the Stage 3 spoiler. But yeah, this car is amazing, and I love it. And I think this is one of the best convertibles that you can buy, because the Camaro and the Mustang being the worst of the two, the Mustang has a very shitty top operation. It looks ugly when it's up, and it looks decent when it's down. But the convertible top has failure points on the Mustang, which is something you don't really want to deal with. And the convertibles on both the Mustang and the Camaro, if you're into convertible cars, they have a lot of road noise because of the fact it's a soft top. The Corvette is a target top, so when the top is up, it feels like it doesn't feel like a convertible and it doesn't sound like one, which is cool. You get the best of both worlds. Now, if you can't squeeze the extra few grand, I do recommend, or if you don't care about the interior or you just want a bare bones V8, I do think that the Camaro is... Some dude's fucking beeping. Holy moly. What's going on over here? Oh, it's this dude in his fucking camera. I'm so sorry. I can't control it. I'm in a public space, you know. But, oh my God. Insane. I'm gonna restart this after he's done whatever the fuck he's doing. What is he doing? Anyway, it's been beeping for like 3 minutes. Anyway, I think the base model 1LT Camaro with the V6 body in like 2022, I think that's an amazing car. It comes with no features, an ugly interior, everything feels cheap. But if you want a V8, I think the LT1 is an amazing car. And the LT1 Camaro versus the Mustang, I think the Camaro just has better technology, and I believe it's the slightly faster car, if you care about that sort of a thing, right? Which I'm not racing, I'm not doing that illegal stuff, so it doesn't matter to me. I think the Mustang is the better looking car, so it's up to you, right? But I think this car is great for people that want performance. It's light, it's great at the track, it's great here in Pigeon Forge, at the Tail of the Dragon, Cherry Hollow Skyway, Foothills Parkway. I mean, this car rips, and it's awesome, and it looks amazing. That's my biggest thing with this car, is the way it looks, how practical it is, and the blind spots are not that bad, right? The Camaro just has, and I'm just not the biggest fan of it with the way it looks. But yeah, I think this car is great, and like I mentioned before, you can find them for 30 grand, sometimes under 30 grand if you're not afraid of miles, which you shouldn't be afraid of miles. These cars are reliable. I would say just make sure when you test drive it, you make sure that you check for torque tube failure, make sure that they're changing their oil, they're making their regular oil changes, and just make sure that the car is taken care of, right? If it's garage kept, better. If it's stock, even better, right? Like, oh my God, please don't buy a super modified one from like a young dude. Oh Jesus! But if you find a stock one, dude, like, oh my God, you're doing well, right? The Grand Sport, like I mentioned, stay away from them. I don't think they're worth the money unless you're watching this in 2030 and the cost of a C7 base car versus a Grand Sport is like $1,000 and it's worth it. But when I bought this car, The Grand Sport was charging over $6,000 more, and it's the same car without the competition seats. In my opinion, not worth it. Z06, that car is, in my opinion, the Z06 is just in a different class of its own. And if you're thinking about buying a Z06, you're not looking at this video anyway. So yeah, there's that, right? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm gonna try and make more updates out to my cars. These are the only two cars I have, which is the C7 and the Audi, but I do want to make more content on it, and I know it's been a few years. Some people have came to my Twitch chats and saying, hey, where have you been? Make a video. So here I am. The car's alive. The car looks great. It's got new mods on it, which I'm going to go over in another video. Makes great power, and it's still kicking. It's at 100K miles, and I'm not selling it ever. Another car, low-key, before I end the video, another car you want to look at is if you're going to look at C7 Z06s, low-key, bro, you can find a C8, a base Stingray C8 for like 50K. Those cars have depreciated like mad. So once you're looking at like 40 to 45K for a Grand Sport or whatever, I would just look at the C8s at that point. That's kind of where I'm at, right? Either get base model Stingray. If you want a Z06, I would just skip to the C8 Stingray. Just an amazing car, and they're depreciating and they're updated, and their infotainment system is amazing, and the interior is even better, and in my opinion, the better car. But some people want the speed or the oomph of a C7 Z06. C7 Z06 looks great, but my opinion, you know, whatever. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm gonna upload this probably tonight. It's 3 a.m., so gotta get home and edit it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it.